Is that too loud? Audio podcast listeners, let Hake know. The Hake Report on Twitter or wherever you like to get in contact with me. Except IG DMs, because I'm not good at Instagram direct messages. Maybe I should start to pay attention, though. What is up, everybody? It is Wednesday, June 1st, 2022 AD, the year of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, AD, Anno Domini. And it's 9:01 a.m. here in Los Angeles. We're going to have an interesting Wednesday show, I think. Shout out to JLP and the crew for an excellent Jesse Lee Peterson show. I have an upcoming debate today on LGBT, race, gender versus Jangles. I'm going to be debating Jangles, Jangles, Science Lad. All one word, Science Lad. On Modern Day Debate. Shout out to Modern Day Debate and James Coons and Kaz, who's been filling in a lot, but I think it's going to be James Coons moderating this one. That'll be fun. 6 p.m. Pacific time tonight. TheHakeReport.com/appearances for all of my recent and very soon upcoming appearances. Very nice. Should we be tearing down the schools after a school shooting happens to reduce trauma? That's what the Commie Nonsense Network reports is happening. I have this funny clip of this guy, this Texas politician, Democrat Roland Gutierrez, who's grandstanding against your Second Amendment rights. He talks like he's a Texan, but don't fall for it. A couple funny clips of Denzel Washington that I came across. Thank you for the tips, actually, on IG, Instagram. Did you know that I'm on Instagram? I'm rarely on it, but I am there. Maybe I'll get better. And some other things. Star Wars racism and phony things like that. And is this real? This is from Breitbart. Chicago High School to implement race-based grading system. Thank you for the tip, Jay. I don't know if that's real, but I think it's real. It might not be exactly what you're thinking, but you know, those intellectual, female-minded liberals, they come up with all kinds of ways. Oh my goodness. I think I forgot to start the thing. Anyway, guys, let's get right on with the show!
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la.
Hey, guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la.
So, how are you guys doing? I am fine. Man, I'm so thrown off now. What a mess. Anyway, hat tip to my volunteers and interns helping me out, making life easier, but I just made my life harder for myself. Do you want some inside baseball? What happened was, normally I have this thing that I can click to do my timestamps, but I forgot to click start when we started the stream. What the heck? Stop screaming, Hake, what the heck? What the heck? Man, what a mess. Let me get right into this stuff going on. You can call in 888-775-3773. I am wearing my The Great White Hope t-shirt prototype. A version of this available by going to rebuildingtheman.com/stores. And it's, I believe it's JLP's, Jesse Lee Peterson's spreadshirt. The Great White Hope, and it has a picture of Trump's Twitter profile pic, which he no longer has that, but rest in peace, Trump's Twitter, am I right? Here, let me talk about this tearing down of the schools mess. So I mentioned this in Hake News at the end of hour 1, I think. There's talk, according to Commie Nonsense Network, CNN, of razing, R-A-Z-I-N-G. That means tearing it down, not raising up. Robb Elementary School and rebuilding it. Seems like a waste, right? You could easily just clean it up. Clean it up after a mass killing, right? But no, it may traumatize people, their memory of it. Like when you break up with your boyfriend, ladies, or girlfriend, males, and you get rid of all this stuff to pretend to not remember. It never bothered me, but some people have to do that. Oh, maybe because they got all over attached and got into the wrong things, right? Not supposed to be sleeping together before marriage. Duh. Maybe that's what the problem was. But it seems like you could just clean it up because people knew the school beforehand. It's not like that's the only thing they knew from the school. I don't know. But anyway, that apparently this is somewhat of a common thing. This is the headline. I mentioned that headline, actually. The extraordinary trauma, reads this CNN article by Holly Yan, an Asian, at Commie Nonsense Network. The extraordinary trauma after a school massacre may be too overwhelming for survivors, victims, to even think about returning to class. In Uvalde, Texas, students at Robb Elementary School are marred by the slaughter of 19 children and 2 teachers at their school. But at some point, classes must resume. Now, questions abound. I think they just ended the school year early. That's what I think I heard. Questions abound as to whether or when a school devastated by carnage should reopen. Of course it should reopen. In many cases, these schools are closed or entirely renovated in an attempt to decrease the traumatic reminders that they have become for community members. So said the Center for Violence Prevention. The Center for Violence Prevention. Sounds like a communist outlet. You know what I mean? Center for Violence Prevention at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. Ridiculous. Seems ridiculous. This is where we're getting all these liberal so-called doctors who say gun violence is a public health crisis. Stupid. We treat victims of gun violence. No such thing. We see the carnage. Yes, you do. Deal with it like a man. Treating this stuff like a woman, treating society like a woman would treat society, is why we have so much so-called gun violence all out of control. I say. I've been over that over and over, I think, right? But let's look at what they did. Sandy Hook Elementary School, that's over in Newtown, Connecticut. December 14th, 2012 was the date of that attack. 26 victims, including, killed. 26 killed, 20 children ages 6 and 7, and 6 adults. The entire school at Sandy Hook Elementary School was razed and rebuilt. Can you believe it? Just tore the whole thing down. 3 weeks after the gruesome attack, Sandy Hook students traveled to the nearby city of Monroe and started attending class at Chalk Hill Middle School, which was no longer being used as a middle school. 4 years after the massacre, a newly rebuilt Sandy Hook Elementary opened to school students, including 4th graders who were kindergartners during the bloodbath. Wow, interesting. Crazy, huh? Another school, Columbine High School. That's the 1999 one, 4/20, 1999, in Littleton, Colorado. I showed you phony, that liar. What's his name? That liar, that lying president. He was known for just being a liar. Bill Clinton. He lied all the time. 13 killed, 12 students, 1 teacher. Wow, only. Columbine High School closed for the rest of the school year. Officials said the attack damaged about 23,000 square feet of the school, left an estimated 900 to 1,000 bullet and shrapnel holes in the walls and ceilings. 4 months later, the beginning of the new school year, most of the school reopened, except for the library, where most of the carnage ensued. It was demolished and replaced by a newly built school library called the Hope Library. Just use spackle. Spackle and paint. That's what I say, but I mean, you have to repair the windows, but I don't know, man. It seems wasteful, in my opinion, to cater to emotions. Am I wrong? Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. That's one in Florida, Parkland, Florida. February 14th, 2018. 17 killed, 14 students and 3 staff. Students returned to campus 2 weeks after the massacre. But Building 12 of the school, where most of the victims were killed, closed off behind emergency tape with their windows covered. I have pictures of some of these schools. I mean, yeah, some of the schools have pictures, and then they showed some like video footage, but I'm not going to show the video footage of these kids and stuff like that. Columbine, Sandy Hook, Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, Santa Fe High School. Remember that one? I don't even remember this one. Santa Fe, Texas, May 18th, 2018. Just a few months after the one in Florida. 10 killed, 8 students, 2 teachers. Students returned 11 days after the bloodshed. Who did the Santa Fe shooting? There were only 2 days left of the school year. So this woman, this senior, Caitlin Richards, didn't want her high school to end with a massacre. Duh. Makes sense. Go finish school. I don't know if we'll ever be ready to go back to school, but I don't want that last day to be my last memory of my senior year. I just want to know I can see all my classmates once again, she said. What was the Santa Fe school? Santa Fe High School. I don't even remember that one. I vaguely remember it. Shooting. Let me see. Oh, is that boy? I vaguely remember him. They have this habit of not wanting to name the perp. They think that that's Demetrios Pagoritsis, 17-year-old student taken into custody. Huh. And he looked like a white passing kind of a guy. Sort of a Greek name. What is that? Is that Greek? Those Greeks, man. No, I don't know. They're not really known for any of that. Shout out to the Greeks. Huh. What was the motive? Incompetent to stand trial, by the way. I don't know about that whole incompetent to stand trial mess. Bullied by multiple students and coaches, they say. Bullying. Quiet, but wasn't quiet in a creepy way. I don't know. To me, this is kissing up to, like enabling weakness. When you kiss up to it and you subsidize it, you're only spreading it. Anything you subsidize, you get more of, right? That's the old conservative line. If you want more of something, you subsidize it with the government. And you also make it more expensive too, by the way. Like subsidized housing or subsidized school, it only makes it more expensive. Subsidized so-called health care only makes the so-called health care more expensive. That's the way it happened. That's the way it goes. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's shameful. Anyway, there's this attack on our rights by evil people, not the least of whom is this Texas State Senator Roland Gutierrez, whose name I saw in Hake News when I was covering how Sleepy Joe Biden visited on Sunday to Uvalde, pretending to care about the kids who were killed, I showed them to you, touching the bigger than life-size portraits that were cut out, cardboard cut out of these kids who were killed. Very morbid, very weird, sort of Mexican-esque. You know how the Mexicans like to make their sort of worshiping the dead type of frills around I don't know, they just have this preoccupation with dead and worship of human beings. It's strange. Or human being-esque type people. It's a fact. Look it up. This guy blamed the NRA and Republicans and Greg Abbott. And Greg Abbott is weak, but not in the way that this guy thinks. This Roland Gutierrez places blame on Abbott and Republicans and the NRA for this Uvalde mass shooting. I should play this clip. Let me show you this clip. Clip 14, I think, is in the folder. Texas politician Roland Gutierrez. But he doesn't speak very Spanish sounding. He speaks like a Texan. But don't be fooled. He's no true Texan. Listen to this guy running his mouth about evil. And this is a Democrat kissing up to Joe Biden. Listen to this.
We shouldn't have assault weapons in the hands of 18-year-olds. We should have red flag laws. We should have wait periods. I can't imagine. I've been talking to families here for the last 3 days and my heart is broken. And this just cannot be anymore. And this you get from this guy about mental health and evil, the only evil that exists is when the leader of this state has a problem that is a problem of epic proportions.
Doesn't make sense.
And he never seeks to fix it.
What a phony guy, huh? There's some truth to that. Greg Abbott is a kiss up to the females and the fake victims. Listen to this fake crier, says BLM crooks. Yeah, I know. Sounds like Trump. What? Bad acting, indeed. Because, you know, the Republicans aren't about solving the problem either. They're too cowardly to bring up the fact that that the liberals are for total degeneracy. Because the Republicans follow right along into that degeneracy. They kiss up to the females who raise these bad kids, raise these kids badly. They kiss up to the POCs and the immigrants and all that stuff. They kiss up to, what else? Well, I mentioned the single mothers already, right? They're examples of weak males who don't control their own families, and that's what allows these people to go out of, what makes these, allows for these young people to go out of control. Yeah, I never saw Trump act like that. The only evil that exists is when the governor of this state, meaning Texas, allows this problem of epic proportions to go on. Which is kind of a rare thing, honestly. I'm going to keep yelling. I'm going to keep demanding it. People are demanding change, Democrats and Republicans. How is it that an 18-year-old can walk into a store down the street, buy 2 automatic rifles in 3 different days, 1,800 rounds of ammunition, and no one stops to say anything? It needs to be raised to 21. We need to have waiting periods. We need to have red flag laws. Yeah, 21-year-olds don't commit mass murders. Crazy. If most Democrats and Republicans agree on them, why aren't we doing them? Meaning this phony gun control stuff, right? I noticed that the liberals totally changed the subject to what the real issue is. Because if you gave me or somebody else around here a tank, we would not go abuse the tank. But they want to pretend like, oh, you can't, you need to have red flag laws. And these red flag laws, you can't trust them. You cannot trust them. Because they accuse, look at how they smeared the January 6th as insurrectionists. They smeared the Tea Party people as terrorists. They go after the veterans. They're wolves in sheep's clothing with the veterans, with the children. These people will smear Christians as extremists and whites as racist. Say, you're too dangerous to have a gun. If it only comes down to one thing, and that's the NRA, he scapegoats gun manufacturers and their money, and that they're giving to the Republican Party. If Greg Abbott wants to go lobby for them, the NRA, if he wants to be an advocate for them, that's on him. But the people of Texas are sick and tired of this. He's had 8 massacres under his watch. Enough is enough. And these phony people push this mental health thing too, which I say even the mental health thing is a distraction. Because the mental health doesn't just pop up out of nowhere. It's created out of the messed up society that they support. The fake racism thing, the scaremongering about the China virus, the sexism, fake sexism thing, the medicating of the boys, the medicating of the females, the pushing politics on women and encouraging women to be involved in politics. They can't even deal with it. They freak out. There was one woman on my debate panel on Friday, Hippy Dippy Roundtable. She couldn't handle it. So, there's bipartisan support in the constituency, the voters, this female-minded liberal male, Gutierrez, whatever his name is, Roland. I keep on wanting to say Rolando. It's the folks in Austin, the Republicans in Austin. I guess that's the capital, huh? That don't want to move a bit because they'd rather advocate for the NRA, which is we the people. It's the people. It may be the minority, I guess. They say 30% don't want gun control. That's the remnant to whom you should listen. This is not a democracy, okay? America is not a democracy. It's not mob rule. Look, I'm a gun owner, but this is ridiculous. These weapons in the hands of 18-year-olds makes 0 sense. No, it doesn't. It makes a lot of sense. 18-year-olds went to war. What the heck? What, all of a sudden that's too young? We have to create some change there, this guy says. Get out of my face. I've had 2 Republicans, one in the House, one in the Senate. They already called for a special session. This has never happened before. You've got colleagues that are calling me. They're anonymous at this point. They don't want me to say who they are. They're telling me maybe 21 thing makes sense. The 21-year-old thing makes sense. Of course it makes sense. No, it does not. But anyway, they're not pushing, and they're not stopping with the pushing, and neither are we, right? We are not stopping the pushing. Pushing hard. Trump was all for the red flag laws, I heard. I know. Yeah, I guess he doesn't realize, I don't know, you got to play the game too. When you're a politician, you play the game. I'm not for that. He was wrong on that, I say. Because those things get abused so easily. So easily. Can never trust a liberal to do stuff right. And you can hardly trust a so-called conservative to do something right. Anyway, you can call in 888-775-3773. Let me get to this Denzel Washington thing. This is kind of funny. Cute. Cute. You heard of Denzel Washington? Clip 11. This is from Instagram. A listener sent this to me a couple weeks back. A mother is a son's first love. It's just a very short clip. Just kind of funny. It made me crack up a little. Denzel. Oh, mama. Denzel Washington is a black actor. Perhaps the most famous black actor. I think he's still alive, yeah. Yes, of course. Clip 11. Listen to this.
A mother is a son's first true love. A son especially that first son, is a mother's last true love. That's, I'm getting choked up.
Play it one more time. I'm getting choked up.
A mother is a son's first true love. A son, especially that first son, is a mother's last true love. That's, I'm getting choked up.
I'm getting choked up. What's funny is that's one of the major problems in the so-called black community. Yeah, the piano music. The piano music makes me think it's true, says Ivana. Yeah, I know. Yeah, how old is Denzel now? But I don't know where he was speaking or when this clip came out, or I couldn't even find it on the Instagram profile page called Hustler Son _. Hustler Son _. That's where I got this. Actually, it was a tip. Somebody sent it to me. If you DM me and I don't respond, don't take it personally, because I'm pretty bad at that, especially on IG. I'm rarely on there. Or Facebook, too. Oh, man. Turn on the AC, please. We need some AC in here. Cringe. I like Denzel, though. Says Mr. Anderson. John Frederick says, my mom emailed me some Denzel. I ignored it. I bet it was this. Well, I mean, there's various Denzel clips that is so touchable. Denzel don't miss, as this guy got. Brandon M says, nah, my mom's first and last love is herself. I know, huh? But they pretend to love you. Or think they do. I was arguing with Vosh last week on Thursday about so-called sexual morality, and he thinks that the love that human beings have for each other is a reflection of God's love. It's a bad reflection, I say. It's not real love. But he calls me an essentialist for saying something like that. Essentialist. I hadn't really heard that before. Meaning, basically, it doesn't exist. If it's not the full thing, perfect thing, then it doesn't exist. Which I like that, black and white. But that's part of the problem. I've heard it said by a wise man multiple times that sometimes your greatest high is actually your lowest low. When you're at your greatest high, not necessarily drugs. Maybe that too, I'm not sure. Especially if you're overdosing like Mac Miller or somebody like that. The rapper, Jewish rapper, not a Christian. He was a mess. These people get all excited. Oh, right now it's so-called imaginary fake pride, false pride, and false identity month right now. It's June. They're pushing it hard. Apple's pushing it hard. Google is pushing it hard, I'm sure. Let's go to google.com. Oh, it didn't put anything. They didn't put anything for the first day of this. It's just normal. Twitter was pushing it hard. I'm sure Facebook and YouTube. Let's look at YouTube. YouTube.com. Let me look at YouTube. Oh, no, they're pretending not to be all into it, but they are. They push that stuff. They encourage you to delve deeper into your degeneracy and perversion, right? So female, right? That's that fake mama love. What a mess. Remember Tupac? Dear Mama? Full of hate and anger, but he loves his crack fiend mama. Here's another clip from Denzel. Very interesting. Very interesting. From Hustler Son _. Hang tight, guys. Hang tight, callers. Clip 12. Hustler Son _. Writes, Denzel never miss. That means that's black for he never misses, right? When the devil ignores you, and tell me, guys, if he uses the word conversely correctly. He might. He sounds smart when he says it. It's pretty convincing if it's not used correctly, and I give him credit for that. Look, here's Denzel Washington, actor, black.
There's a saying, when the devil ignores you, then you know you're doing something wrong. Wait a minute, I'm not done now. You know, the devil goes, oh no, leave him alone. Hey, he's my favorite. Don't bother him.
Yes.
Conversely, when the devil comes at you, maybe it's because you're trying to do something right.
Isn't that deep? See, he never misses. Of course, a lot of people get a lot of flack from the devil, also for doing something wrong. So, but he said maybe. It's true, right? It's true. Isn't that nice? Yes, it's nice. I'm going to go over this Mark Ridley-Thomas, male feminist black guy out of Los Angeles. Politician, corrupt, a lot of things named after him, a pedestrian bridge and other things. But let me get to a call or two, guys. Alex in Sweden is on the line. Alex, how are you doing?
Hello, Mr. Hake.
Hey.
Hake, I wanted to talk to you about this guy who called you yesterday who was whining about being nice to the elderly.
Whining? Dang. You're referring to, Joe from Idaho, formerly PDX.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, one thing that these kind of people don't seem to understand, I mean, I believe that, for example, in America, a lot of people who are, let's say, Trumpsters, these kind of people, they in general have good humor. You can, joke with them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. While the leftists, the people who support Biden are into those SJW crap, you can't even, you really have to think what you say to them. Otherwise, they get angry for they're so easy to offend, so to speak.
Right. It's true. And they want to protect people from being offended usually by the truth.
I mean, I don't understand. For example, this guy who called yesterday, he was saying that you are being rude to the elderly. You aren't supposed to say how they look like or how they behave or something like that. I mean, if you think about it, you, Hake, I don't think you or anyone in your crew just, go around and are rude to people. It's like There's a time and place for everything, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and also these people, they are kind of putting themselves out there to be mocked, so to speak.
They are. They're setting themselves up to be mocked worse than what they need to be.
Yes. And another thing is that you had your Memorial Day, right?
Yeah, that was Monday. Memorial Day for American fallen soldiers killed.
Yes.
Who've been killed, including Ashli Babbitt, by the way. Ashli Babbitt was killed. Some say murdered, some say executed unnecessarily.
Yeah, she was murdered. She was murdered. I say she was murdered.
Yeah, in a sense, there's definitely an argument for that. Definitely.
I mean, you just use your common sense and look at how everything went down. I mean, she was unarmed, and also that guy he got off quite easily. I mean, they just, dusted it off just like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, we had our veteran. It's called the Veteran Day. It was the 29th. It was Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah, but the thing is, I feel like Sweden, we don't have our army. It's not that big like yours, so to speak, and Sweden in general haven't been in war or in conflict for many years. But Sweden have sent Swedish soldiers to fight or help other countries.
Yeah. Wow.
So it feels kind of weird that we are sending, because they are behaving like that because the prime minister, which by the way is a female, and she felt very misplaced there because she does not care about this country at all. But she was like, they died for this country, and I was like, what do you mean for this country? They didn't die for this country.
Yeah. Man, what a shame.
Yes.
They died for other countries.
Yeah. It's. I mean,
they died
in
for
your
globalism.
Case, I can understand. Yeah, so to speak. Yes.
Yep.
And one last thing was that I was at the grocery store, and there were a couple of girls. They were taking pictures close to the baby formula. And they were talking about sending it to Twitter or something that we have baby formula and you don't. And I was like, my God.
Throwing it in America's face. That's funny.
Yeah, I was like, wow. I mean, no one seems to like, babies anymore. I don't know. I don't understand why.
I know. How is Sweden doing with birth rates? Are they having a declining population or an increasing population? Who's having the most babies? Is it the Muslims or the normal Swedes?
No, it's like the same with you, because it's the migrant babies, so to speak.
Man,
it's increasing, and the Swedish ones are kind of declining, so to speak.
Yeah.
And hey, just one last thing before I forget. I saw this clip on YouTube. It was some department store in Pennsylvania where the police were waiting for these. Jesse has been showing those clips where, black people mostly go into the stores and just grab things and kind of walk out.
Yes.
Yeah, but in that store, the police were waiting for them, so they took them down, and it was kind of satisfying to see that.
Nice.
Yeah, you can look it up. It's like it happened recently, like 2 or 3 days ago in Pennsylvania. Maybe you can play it on Jesse's show or something. People need to see that because people need to see that police still mean business. They are,
right.
Still want to protect themselves.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I appreciate the tip, Alex. Good to hear from you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for taking my call, and to keep up the good work, Hake.
Thank you. Take care.
Okay, bye.
Bye. I have some super chats to read before I get to more calls, guys. And then I will get to, well, I'll try to plow through the whole Mark Ridley-Thomas mess. But I got a super chat from WW4B Advocate. No, WWB Advocate. No 4 in it. Rest in peace, Ashli Babbitt. Indeed, Ashli Babbitt. She was an Air Force lady, and she went to January 6th. You could argue that she got carried away. I have said before that she brought her death upon herself, but it was, in my opinion, so unnecessary for that black cop who had been in trouble before, or should have been in trouble. I don't know if he actually got in trouble for leaving his Glock in a bathroom unattended in the Capitol building. Capitol Police Officer Mark, is it Mark or was it Mike Bird? Black, shot her. Kind of like shot her from around the corner. I don't even know if she saw him. She was jumping through a broken window, right? Inside the Capitol building during the patriotic protest against the shenanigans, the shenanigans. They were fighting for the country. or protesting for the country, and in some cases got carried away and acted out. But rest in peace, Ashli Babbitt. Her husband's appeared in the Tucker Carlson Plot Against the People, or something like that. Patriots, I don't know, something like that. Plot Against the Patriots. I forget what it was. But, man, what a mess. So evil. In my opinion, that guy is a coward. That Officer Byrd guy. John WX25 with the super chat on streamlabs.com/the Hake Report last night. He stated, I'd rather listen to Tony than listen to a man complaining, he put quote unquote man, complaining about you commenting on the looks of an evil, nasty, old, dried up hag. Hillary is a fat, buck-toothed beast, and Maxine Waters is proof of wildebeest ancestry. Now go cry, beta. And that's a reference to my caller yesterday. Shout out to Joe in Idaho. I liked the call, man. I liked the call. I totally think you're wrong. But it represents a certain segment of the population that think that's below the belt or something. Which, in war, you're supposed to hit below the belt. Spiritual warfare. Hitting below the belt for Christ. Evgeny Crosby donated $1 and stated, Marcus Jones has pictures of Hake, Jesse, and Nick on his nightstand. Whoa. Don't tell me that. Best Kisser Bibby42 states, Denzel used to be kind of alpha. I don't know what to make of him now, but he is 68, so maybe his mind isn't working properly anymore. Anyhow, good luck on your little debate tonight, Hakester. That's right, Modern Day Debate, youtube.com/Modern Day Debate, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern, 8 Central. Figure it out if you're elsewhere in the country or world. About LGBT, it's kind of a wide open set of topics. LGBT, race, and gender. Interesting, huh? But I like those topics. I'm going to go hard, hopefully. Versus Jangles, Science Lad. WWB advocate states anti-white plot against Western kind. Paper Americans are just collateral damage. Meaning, the people who are so-called Americans on paper. And yeah, they do get destroyed along with it, right? But they're collateral damage. It's an attack upon the whites who stand against, by and large, we stand against the evil onslaught. That's why we're hated so much, is my guess. It's in part what's going on, I think. Love all races of people, nevertheless, says WWB advocate. It is only patriotism for Western kind which is forbidden and undermined. Yep. Stream is buffering. Shall I set this? I'll reset the stream over there on Odyssey, guys. I'm resetting it. Resetting. Let me get to... Oh, yeah, by the way, I did see some... Chris states, correct use of the word conversely, unless he's misunderstanding the word. Somebody else said similar. Not correct, says Misty, but I don't know if you can trust her. She messes around a lot. Yeah, I guess he used it right, says Lord Bibby42. Shall I look up conversely? Conversely define. Introducing a statement or idea which reverses one that has just been made or referred to. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I think it's accurate. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. I like to have things right. Cool. Odyssey working again, guys. Let me get to Gilbert, a first-time caller in Los Angeles, California. Gilbert in L.A. How are you doing?
Hey, do you remember? I went to church this one day, a couple of church days, and I was the guy with the earrings and I didn't know who you were, but now I do. Because now I listen to you. Okay,
right on, man. Anyway. I may start to remember you. If I saw your face, I'm sure I would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have the beard too, I think.
Okay. That doesn't help me
Well,
yet,
anyway.
but that's all right.
Okay, so I kind of wanted to bring something up about like it like politically, and like it's just something that Jesus brought up, and I think that Jesus was like, you know, perfect and like brave enough to talk about this stuff, and like I think we need to be brave enough to talk about it too. And that's Jewish people. Do you get what I'm saying?
I do get what you're saying, but go on for the sake of the people
So like
listening.
Jesus in John chapter 8, you know, he was talking about how like they're not the seed of Abraham, that if they were the seed of Abraham, the works of Abraham they would do.
And by that he meant spiritually.
Well, well, we can factor in other things too.
You think it's more?
Not
You think
just
it's
from the
physically
Bible.
too? You think they're physically?
Not just from the Bible, but in modern times as well. Because I mean, they're the same Jews, right?
They're not the same dudes, but it's the same spirit for sure.
Here's
Spiritually, all these people who are pretending to be for what's right and pretending to care about the kids,
exactly,
anti-racism and all that. Yeah, it is all a lie.
Yeah.
They're wolves in sheep's clothing.
exactly. What I kind of wanted to bring up also was like, I mean, maybe this is taking things a little too literally, but I just think it makes sense that literally you look in the Bible, who's anti-Christ? The Jews. And today, who's anti-goodness, prosperity, righteousness, truth? Who's in charge of everything, you know, making all these problems? Same people.
Yeah, I mean, they're like leadership in that sense, but you don't want to. You don't
And
want to.
everybody else that isn't.
Uh-huh.
I think everybody else that isn't a part of that, you know, you can call it a race or whatever, that is also a part of the machine. I mean, they're just sellouts, you know.
You mean the people who go along with the evil are just sellouts? They're not Antichrist too?
Yeah, they you know,
They are
worldly,
Antichrist
they care
too,
about
though.
money. But not in the sense that I mean. I feel like they're literally like.
Hold on, how is it
almost
different?
Unredeemable. like they're like it's ingrained in them for some reason.
How is it
like
different?
They just are the Antichrist.
I get what you're saying, but how is it different for a non-Jewish person to go along with evil? How are they not Antichrist?
Because they aren't the Antichrist. But they are going along with the evil because they're lost. They're in a fallen state.
They are, but they are Antichrist though, right? Or no?
Not genetically.
Genetically? Why are you reading genes into it?
Because that's where my intuition takes me on this topic.
But I wouldn't. That seems like too much of a jump, even for the intuition. I mean, I understand that
it's crazy, but you know, believing in God is crazy for those who don't believe in God.
I know, but you're using belief in God to justify saying.
Am I though? Or am I being led by God?
Now you're just asking questions. You're not convincing anybody.
I'm just putting it out there.
I know, but now you're just speculating. Like you're not convincing anybody. I wouldn't get too carried away with it. It is, I mean, I've heard my former de facto producer, Dylon, who's really into this stuff, who is Jewish himself, interestingly. He believes in this evolutionarily genetic thing, like you do, like you seem to. Even though I don't think that he's a Christian.
But...
Well, you believe that it's genetic when God said not one word about genetics. Just because he said you're not Abraham's seed doesn't mean that Jesus was talking about genetics. But your intuition is telling your intuition. How do you know your intuition is from God to tell you that it's genetic? I mean,
well, you just gotta know.
I don't really have any opinion on the genetics thing because Now you're going into the unknown. Why would you speculate into the unknown? Just stick with what it is.
That's what God is for. God gives you the wisdom to see, discernment, you know.
You have wisdom?
Through God.
No, but do you have
Only that
wisdom?
which comes through God. Sorry?
That's a yes? You have wisdom?
Yes.
Nice. How do you know?
Only through God, though.
I know that.
You know,
I know
before-
that. You're so
before-
humble. But how do you know that you have wisdom?
Because I know things that I otherwise wouldn't be able to know without that.
Does that do you good in your life? Like, does your wisdom bear out in your life?
And it bears out in other people's lives when I help them.
So through your wisdom, you've helped people.
Yeah. A lot of people, actually. I'm really into, like, nutrition and stuff also. So, like, I help people with that.
Yeah, but that's good. I mean, it has some value for sure. But
Like, if you want to
that's
hear
not
a little bit
necessarily
about
godly
nutrition,
wisdom,
bring
man.
that up there.
A lot of Jews give nutrition advice, and some of it's accurate.
A lot of what the government says about nutrition is completely false. You should
We all know
do the
this.
opposite.
Yeah.
Oh, can I bring up another YouTuber real quick?
No. No, you cannot.
Really?
Uh, Yeah. Do not. You can send it to me.
Oh, okay.
You can send it to me.
Oh, he's just like he's all about like nutrition. I just wanted to like shout him out or something.
No, you
really
send it to me, man. Send it.
Send it how?
Email,
Like email
or
okay.
Twitter or whatever.
Okay, no problem.
I think that it's.
But anyway,
I think it's more. I mean, I get what you're saying, and when you look at reality, reality is by and large the white men.
Reality is spiritual.
Hold on, man. I'm talking. Reality is the white Christian men are the ones who are seemingly least off the deep end, insane for as far as where the direction of the country should go. And then the people you say leading, you see them like they are resented for their leading role by many. To quote, who is that? Barbara Spector.
I think
I don't
it's
know.
discernment, identification. You know,
But that's
that's what they call it. They call it resentment.
But you have to watch.
because they wanna
You have to
redirect
watch yourself
the blame.
because a lot of you guys get carried away into believing stuff that isn't true. But anyway,
I think truth is this. Okay, so let me preface this by saying like back in the day, a few years ago. So I kind of did like a bunch of acid, right? And that's how I basically found God. And I kind of came to the realization that the material world isn't what we think it is, right? It's all built upon the spiritual, which is the actual world. Like base reality is spiritual. And if you want to discern absolute reality, you have to do that spiritually.
nice, man. Well, I appreciate the call.
Well, thank you.
Call
Thanks
me
so much,
again
Nick.
sometime, Gilbert. Gilbert, are you white or are you Hispanic or what?
I'm like white Hispanic kind of.
All right, you're mixed.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't every Hispanic around here mixed practically?
Yeah.
But you're extra mixed with a normal, like you have like a full-blown white sort of parent?
Like my mom's pretty white. And
Okay.
My dad's kind of more Mexican.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, take care, Gilbert. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Hake.
All right. Take care. Let me quickly get to this story of Mark Ridley-Thomas before I get to the to this music. Oh my gosh, it's terrible. Here is the story, the background, just to remind you, this is from Mark Ridley-Thomas.com/news. The article got taken down already for some reason, but I have it on archive. I covered this before from October 12th, 2020, an enduring partnership for good. It's a gay term, partnership. Many moons ago, Mark Thomas married Avis Ridley. This is a black guy who married a black female. Their marriage wasn't a surprise to friends who had known them since they were high school student leaders. Watch out for those student leaders. Most of them, no good. It's a fact, especially in those high schoolers and college. Most of them. But what did raise eyebrows was that not only did Avis, this woman, Ridley, take her husband's last name, Thomas, he also took hers, Ridley. Good strong name, Mark Thomas. He changed it to a hyphenated name, Mark Ridley-hyphen-Thomas. MRT. I caught a lot of flack when I added my wife's name to mine, MRT recalls. But I did it to show the world that my wife is my equal. And a real partner in what I do. We are both Ridley-hyphen-Thomas. And now he has children named Ridley-Thomas. Are they still together? I assume they are. I think they are. That insistence on the rightful equality of women is more than symbolic. It has created a consistent through line. This is a blog post from his website, right? He was running for something, for office. He's a politician. Consistent through line on MRT's policy stands and work as well. In the 1980s, the couple launched the Rosa Parks Sexual Assault Crisis Center. For the black females, I guess, which offered counseling and clinical services to treat victims of rape in South LA. Actually, it was called South Central LA back then, right? South Central. And then they changed it to South LA to give it a less traumatizing name because South Central became like synonymous with ghetto. Ghetto. Offered counseling and critical services to treat victims of rape. Huh. South Central LA. Who would be doing the raping in South Central LA, I wonder? Just a question. Bringing it under the auspices of the Martin Luther King Legacy Association, where he was executive VP. Today, the Crisis Center is a project of the YWCA, Young Women's something. YMCA, Young Men's something. I forget what CA stands for. Later, while on the city council, he was on the Los Angeles City Council. MRT, Mark Ridley-hyphen-Thomas, male feminist, black, led the effort to double the number of domestic violence beds in Los Angeles. Why would he need to double the number of beds? So-called domestic violence beds. Domestic violence is a buzzword against men, by the way. When we talk about health care and other public services, it's not a public service, we are often talking about the plight and needs of women. Women. When we talk about public safety and transportation, we know it's an important conversation from a uniquely female perspective. Sex trafficking, an underreported problem in our county, says this article in 2020. Sex trafficking. Who would be doing the what is that? Trafficking basically means kidnapping and transporting, right? Female, what are they? Sometimes forced prostitutes. Who would be the pimps? Is it the Hispanics? Is it the blacks? I don't know. Or is it the whites in LA County? Underreported, affects our girls, he says. Whose girls? And in the national debate over women's reproductive rights, meaning the so-called right to kill the baby, Mark Ridley-Thomas never loses sight of the fact we are having the kind of conversation that is never, ever had about restricting men's reproductive rights. Of course, men's reproductive rights, if you want to, you come up with this fake term, are restricted. Hat tip to Mark, the real Mark, down in San Diego. Because men aren't allowed to have their own, make the women have their babies once they're pregnant. No, the women get to kill the baby unilaterally. So I decide who lives or dies, says the evil woman. Blind, brainwashed, misguided female. Egged on and supported by these sleazy people. Yeah, lesbian domestic violence is a major problem too. That's true, Bill West. So-called domestic violence. I don't like that term. When I was an undergraduate student at Immaculate Heart College, his heart is not immaculate. I studied both the feminization of poverty and the intellectual history of feminist thought, Mark Ridley-hyphen-Thomas said. That's when he turned into a woman, I guess. And those powerful areas of study have stayed with me. Being an African-American male, MRT believes, gives him a greater responsibility to the voice of the minority and marginalized communities. Oh, you mean the whites? The white men? Who's more marginalized than like the white Christian men who don't sufficiently hate whites? Who don't even get to have a website in America? Some of them. Some of the more open and frank ones. Sometimes I am the voice in government speaking up for AAPI. Those are the Asians and so-called Pacific Islanders. They pretend that Asians are Asian Americans. Sometimes. I rep for the LGBTQ community, Muslims and Jews in Little Ethiopia, as well as Lamart Park. And I push for public policy that continually moves the ball in the direction of full equality for women. Blah, 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 blah. National Organization of Women, Planned Parenthood, United Nurses Association, California, SEIU, it's a union. Los Angeles African American Women Political Action Committee. These are the people who support him. Dianne Feinstein, Karen Bass, who's running for mayor, Betty Yee, state controller, Fiona Ma, Sheila Kuehl, You're So Cruel, Janice Hahn, oh, forget her. What? Janice Hahn acted like she was sensible for a second. Cackling Kamala Harris supported him. He wanted to continue the work that needed to be done for the guide our economic recovery from the China virus and to bring an anti-racist agenda to the city. In addition to these priorities is a parallel equal rights agenda for women that is as ever present as the Ridley part of his last name. How cringy, huh? And he was honored last year in September, along with his wife, for 30 years of service. And then that following month, the headline from LA Times, many sites bear the name of Mark Ridley-Thomas, a pedestrian walk bridge, and different, centers, right? What happens now that he faces federal charges for bribery from a USC person, University of Southern California? Crazy, huh? Ridiculous. We are past the top of the hour, guys. I'm gonna get to Star Wars. Yes, Karen Bass is a commie. GOP went after her. Diverse Star Wars, anti-racist Star Wars, and other things. Your calls, too. But now is the time for some music. And I don't think I'm going to introduce this music. Don't listen too closely to the lyrics. You leave the room, kids. Heck, I'm going to leave the room. It's not Christian. It sounds church-y, but all music is from the devil, and please, please, please disregard the lyrics. The hidden cameras, folks. Listen to this, or don't. What a mess.
stream. In the cold, it turns to ice. Runs down my knees in five golden stream. Turns from warm to cold in frightful time. In the frozen dead of night, the golden storm builds the golden run, and held up high by golden streams of ice. My golden bone builds the golden run, runs held high in our dreams of men. Golden streams of ice in the cold of a city of gold that lives in broad daylight. Golden streams run down my cheeks when buns are the cry of my dreams of men on
Terrible.
golden morn.
Don't say that about Maze. Hippie mess. I didn't know what this meant. Yes. I heard the first lyrics and mute. Says Mimi Cute. Terrible. Sounds awfully cute so far. Sounds angelic. I disavow. Here's some evil. Get ready for Satan. Sounds like you lost my $100 dono, Hake, says Nugget Man. I know. Terrible. What is he saying? Don't ask. Hope the kids left the room. This song is like 4 sentences. I'm done. Terrible. Well, anyway, thank you for bearing with me through that. Let me get to a call here, guys. Richard in San Francisco, California is on the line. Speaking of, how are you doing?
Doing good, man. How you doing?
Doing fine, thank you.
So with all the gun crimes and all the gun lobbyists,
Stay close to your phone, man. It's
action.
It's coming in kind of rough. Are you on a speakerphone or something? Did you go back on speakerphone?
No, why?
Liar. How did the quality of your phone just completely change then just now?
Because I have an iPhone. I don't know.
Okay, well, stay close to your phone. You're sounding better, I think. Speak up, though.
So with all the gun crimes and mass shootings and school shootings,
There's no such thing as gun
I think
crime.
it's time. Okay, there is, but whatever.
No, there's not. But whatever.
Well, there is. I
No.
mean, don't they categorize that by the FBI and DOJ as gun crimes?
I have no idea. The FBI are
Well, they
liberals.
I mean, you could say it's not there, but it doesn't mean it doesn't exist, right?
It does not exist.
It does.
Guns do not commit crimes.
FBI and DOJ.
Guns do not commit crimes.
Well, then why do they call them gun crimes?
I don't know who they are. You talking about the liberals at the FBI?
Hey, FBI, DOJ, I can care less.
Well, those are liberals, but it's not. There's no such thing as gun crimes.
Liberals conservative. That affects both, doesn't it?
By and large, it's done by liberals to other liberals. It does.
To other liberals.
Yeah, murder is mostly done by liberals, all done by liberals, really. Against other liberals, by and large.
Well, I don't really classify them as what party they voted for or what party.
You brought it up. You brought up the party thing. You said it affects both, right? And I just clarified for you.
It affects both. Well, no, you said it was done by liberals and to liberals, and I go, it doesn't really happen that way, but I mean, like, you can say it if you want.
Anyway, there's no guns. Guns do not commit crimes.
Okay, well, guns don't commit crimes.
Nor do they commit violence.
Well, it's a tool, right?
Yes, exactly. It's a tool.
Yeah.
And it's a tool that's used. It's a tool that's used to stop crime more than it is to commit crime. More crimes are stopped with guns than are committed with guns.
And so you think the good guy with the gun or having a armed security guard at schools is the way to go, right?
That's a leading question.
Well,
but to answer your question,
sure.
I think everybody's for that.
Everybody's for that. We should turn schools into maximum security prisons.
Those are your words. I didn't say that.
So, like, one way in. We should treat kids like prisoners, too.
That's your words. You're the sicko, not me.
I'm saying, hey, you want to put an armed security guard at a school?
In the old days, we didn't have to do that. But since we have a liberal society that raises murderers, raises evil, hate-filled, murderous liberals, we have to take actions to protect the people. The people have to protect themselves. More guns, less crime.
That have banned guns, how many school shootings have they had since?
They've still had shootings. They've still had shootings at
I'm
concerts.
Asking school shootings.
I'm not interested in school shootings at other countries.
I am. That's what the topic is.
No, it's not the topic. You brought up so-called gun crime. Now you're going just to school shootings?
Well, gun crimes, school shootings, mass murderers, I don't care. Gun crimes in Chicago.
I know you don't care.
Gun crimes in New York. No, I'm saying if they took away all the guns, you just have, mostly stabbings?
First of all, it's impossible to take away all the guns. You're only going to disarm the decent people.
Well, they managed to do it in the UK.
The UK is a tiny island compared to America.
They managed to do it in Australia.
Australia is a big island compared to America.
It's a huge island, isn't it?
Yeah, it's huge, but it's an island. America's a whole continent.
So is it just as wide as? We'll just focus.
And so you want to be like UK? You want to be like UK and Australia, where you have no freedom of speech and no Second Amendment?
Say whatever the hell you want there.
You want to be like that?
Sure.
Go over there. Go live there.
Why? I'm happy here.
No, you're not. You're not happy at all.
I seem to be. But I'm asking you didn't answer my question.
What's your question?
School shootings. Since they banned guns in these countries, how many school shootings have happened since?
I don't know, and I don't care, because school shootings are not the problem.
The number is 0.
I don't know if that's true. I don't know. There is escalating, reportedly, according to The Guardian, there is escalating gang violence, gang shootings. Gangs commit shootings, not guns.
Gangs commit shootings.
In Sydney, Australia.
In Sydney, Australia.
Yeah, crime going out of control.
When was the last one? Crime's out of control in Sydney, Australia.
Yep.
So,
and it's escalating.
Answer my question.
I thought you said they bought back all the guns. How are there still shootings?
I said they banned guns.
No, you said they could, if they got back all the guns in America, which is an unrealistic thing. We still have Mexico down there. Are we going to send missiles into Mexico to blow up all the guns in Mexico too?
Most of the guns are made in where?
They're coming in through Mexico too.
Yeah, so we're just basically getting back what we've given?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No, nor do I care, because this is not even a realistic book. More guns, less crime. I'm going to give
more
you some
guns,
more homework.
Less crime.
Yeah, more
No,
guns,
you don't
less
give me
crime.
any homework.
Yeah.
Show me where more guns equals less crime. Because doesn't Texas believe that everybody should be armed, including an 18-year-old who purchased a gun legally?
I don't know if he.
AR-15,
I don't know anything about
purchased
that.
it legally.
I don't know
and then
how he even was able to
mow
afford that.
down. What do you mean you're not able to know how you could afford it? Guns are so easy to get in America. It's not like it's hard.
More guns, less crime. From Dr. John
Where
R.
does
Lott.
that- where does that
Will you
work?
shut up and listen to me answer your question
where
for a
does that
second?
work?
More Guns, Less Crime by Dr. John R. Lott Jr., PhD.
So
Read
where does it
read
work?
that book and then get back to me.
Show me, name a city where it works.
Read the book.
No, I'm asking you, name a city where it works.
I don't know. I don't care.
You don't care, but you just gave information saying that more guns equal less crime.
Right. And
So
I gave
name
you
a
where to
city
find
where
it.
it works.
I gave you where to find
Not
it.
where to find it.
Yeah.
I asked you what city. Name a city.
The white cities don't tend to have this
Wait,
problem
what
so
white
much.
City? What white city?
Any white city you go, by and large, they're not going to have this problem for the most part.
Any white city. I'm asking, okay, name a white city? Just specifically a city where only whites live in, because that's what you said, a white city.
I didn't say only whites.
In
I said
America.
majority white.
Okay, name a city. What, Charlotte, North Carolina? I don't
You
know.
think Charlotte, North Carolina is a white city?
I don't know. I don't live in North
Yeah, I know.
Carolina.
So then why are
Maine, Portland,
you wanting me to name a
Portland,
city?
Maine.
Boise, Idaho.
Because you said more guns equal less crime. So are you saying that Boise has a referendum that more guns equal less crime?
I have no idea.
So why would you say Boise if you don't have an idea?
Because I told you where to find it if you're so interested in
But
this
I'm
topic.
not looking.
I
for
know you're not
reading
looking.
about a guy's opinion. I'm looking for actual facts.
No, those are actual facts
Numbers.
from Dr. John R. You don't care about numbers. Dr. John
The
R.
numbers.
Lott Jr.,
What do the numbers
PhD,
say?
has all the facts that you can want.
PhD. So he studied all the numbers. So he
Yeah.
basically said this guy studied all the numbers.
Yes.
And can name cities where more guns equal less crime. Because it looks like America has the most guns per capita in the world.
Nice.
And leads it in gun crimes,
There's no such thing as gun
Murder.
crimes.
mass shootings, and school shootings.
And mass shootings are by and large done by blacks, POCs.
I don't care what they are. They're done in America, right?
In America, but you can't really recognize it as America, can you?
No, it's
America
America.
has been transformed.
America's still America.
No,
Whether the
America
shooting
is
happens
no longer
in
America.
California or a shooting happens in
America-
Texas, it's still in the borders
America-
of America, right?
America is no longer America. That we can all agree on.
I don't know what you're trying to say. America is still America.
No, it's not
Whether
America
it's
anymore. It is not.
Whether it's developed.
No.
into
It has
what
not
you don't
developed. It has
like.
declined. A super chat from WWB Advocate states, it's anti-whiteism and white erasure, which causes more so-called gun crimes and all violent crimes for that matter. Guns aren't unique to this fact.
So America, which leads the world in mass shootings, school shootings, gun
I don't know
crimes,
about that.
But it shows that more guns, because America has the most, doesn't actually mean less crime.
Yes, it does.
Well, the numbers actually show you're wrong.
No, they don't. You don't know. You haven't named one number.
So America
You've just
leads in
showed
mass shooting.
You just rattled off a ham-fisted analysis based on
It's
your
not analogy.
NPC,
It's true.
just liberal fake ideas, blaming the guns
So-
for the degeneracy of the people.
America, which ranks number one, not for being the best country, but for being number one in mass shooting, that's not an analogy. That's a fact.
I don't know if that's a fact or not.
It is a fact. I mean, you don't have to take my word for it.
Yeah,
You can go ahead and
let me
look it
give
up.
you a fact with the super chat from Asmodor. Worse mass shootings are done in Europe, in Europe to this day by Muslims than any American by the numbers.
What was the last mass shooting?
I think there were 50 people. I think there were 50 people murdered by a mass murdering Muslim or a few Muslims terrorism in France.
What year?
It was within the last decade.
The last decade.
Yep.
And since that has happened, how many mass shootings have we had in America?
Not sure.
Well over, let's see, within the last, I don't know.
Buddy.
Three weeks we've had.
Richard.
What, how many shootings?
Richard.
How many mass shootings?
Richard.
In the last 3 weeks?
Richard. You're not going to get to the solution. You're only addressing
What do you mean?
symptoms.
The solution is to get rid of your guns.
That's not a solution, buddy.
It works.
You're thinking like a woman.
It works in other countries.
It does not. It does not work in other countries, buddy.
Away? It has worked.
No,
in
it has
other
not
countries.
worked in other countries.
How many school shootings since they
Buddy,
took away the guns?
I'm
in
telling
Australia?
you, you're on the side of
How many?
evil. Richard.
How many have they had?
Richard.
I can tell you.
Richard, you are on the side of evil.
Do you want me to tell you?
Will you shut up
Because
and listen to
you're not
me?
answering the question. 0. So it has 0.
You're on the side, Richard. You're on the side of
we
evil.
can multiply.
I'm putting him on hold. $90 people at the Bataclan Theater, 130 total, 416 injured. 137 dead. Wow. At the Bataclan Theater in France in 2015. 137 dead? Whoa. Dang. Nobody was allowed to carry guns. Only the police. Richard.
Wow, terrorism.
Richard.
Doesn't it?
Yeah. But you people
why do we
invite that stuff.
continue- So we continue to have mass shootings, but we're going to point out something that happened 5 years ago, 4 years ago, in another country.
You brought it up.
So we want to focus.
You brought it up.
What up? Yeah.
You asked
So
where
since-
does it happen in other
since
countries? You
Pakman,
said
how
it doesn't
many
happen in
mass
other
shootings have they
countries.
had? So
Does
since
it make
Pakman,
sense,
How
Richard?
many shootings
Let me
have they had?
Richard, does it make sense to you? Does it make sense to you to disarm the decent people in the name
Yes.
of stopping this?
You got to do it across the board, 100%.
And so only the
Y'all don't know how to play nice.
hold on, man.
You better take them away.
Everybody, the conservatives know how to play nice. Okay.
Nah.
Does it make
got
sense
that.
to
But
you?
anyway.
Does it make sense to you that only the government be armed?
Sure.
You're a joke.
Well, listening to your show is kind of a joke, but I mean, hey, we're all amused.
All right.
That was your rebuttal. All right.
Take care, man.
Take care.
Bye. Geronimo. Look at this report. A girl, 17, decapitated by her boyfriend. Tishko Ahmed Shabazz, age 23, originally from Iraq. After she ended her relationship, officers discovered Wilma's severed head in a suitcase wrapped in aluminum, foil, and sticky tape on November 28th. Still yet to find Wilma's body. Yikes. They've changed the definition of mass shootings to at least 3 times since Columbine high school shooting. Yeah, they do change the definition. It makes sense to any orc not to arm the hobbits. Orcs are going to be armed anyway. Yeah, the criminals and everybody else. Another super chat from streamlabs.com/The Hake Report. Corlick states, America is the last white country with guns. Once we lose them, they, quote unquote, can do whatever they want. If they treat us like this with guns, imagine how they'll treat us without guns. America having guns means the rest of the West doesn't need to. Yeah. You disarm the men, the government will take care of you. What type of female-minded thinking is that? we need to stop school shootings. So let's not solve the evil of the heart. Let's not fix the families. Let's continue to drive people mad. Chris says, it's weird they never want to go. What do you say? What are you saying, Chris? Let's bring in Chris with some sense here.
Yeah. He mentioned he has no problem with the government being the only one armed.
Yeah.
So
what about the independence of the people?
Yeah. Well,
how about manly thinking?
There is that. I mean, that's totally cringe.
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering. So he is saying he wants to use the power of the state, the power of the government, to accomplish this. Well, there are criminals, violent criminals. The gun crime that he's talking about, those are happening right now, right? And we all know who the perpetrators are, and every now and again you catch a white. Doing it, whatever. Okay, use the government right now.
Yeah.
And stop them. Why don't they want to do that now? They want to use the government to take the guns away from regular citizens.
Right.
This stuff really is not hard. You pretend like you can't use the government to do a very specific thing. You totally can.
Right. Go after the criminals.
Yeah.
The FBI is too busy trying to ensnare whites.
Yeah, absolutely. Which proves my point perfectly. They can literally go after something that doesn't exist.
Right.
Specifically something that does not exist, which is white right-wing, extreme terror.
Right.
It's just not.
They conjure it.
Yeah, they conjure it. It's not a real thing. And yet again, day in and day out, year after year after year. Look on a map. Where is it more diverse?
Yeah.
The crime is up. The gun crime, quote unquote, the shootings. They're in these areas. So you already have it laid out on a map. Go there with the government and stop them.
Yeah.
It's plain and simple. I mean, it's so easy. And I mean, we play these games, these arguments. Oh, it has to be this, and he wants all these stats.
Right.
The stats are laid out. It's plain and simple where it's happening, who's doing it. Use the government to go do it. I want the government. I want to use the government to go do it.
Right.
But
stop this stuff coming in at the border.
Yeah. It's plain and simple. Obviously, there's there's two things going on. There's the root cause of it, which again that's a lot harder. You can't really use the government for that.
You can use the government you can stop the government from enabling that though.
Yeah. Well, you can stifle
defund the single mothers and all that stuff.
Yeah, you can stifle the symptoms.
Right.
With the government.
Yeah.
Which I agree with. You should do that.
By just not helping.
Yeah. Well, it's like
it's
like if somebody burns down your house, the fire is a problem, but so is the person who set your house on fire.
Yeah.
So the fire is a more immediate issue.
Yes.
So put the fire out and then you can go catch the criminal. So, it's not like a one-to-one analogy. The violent criminals are the fire in this analogy.
Right. But they're the symptom.
Yeah, they're the symptom.
Yeah.
There's another cause.
They're not the problem.
Yeah, that you'll need to solve that issue as well.
Yeah.
But I can assure you, we have the capabilities of doing both.
Seriously,
it's really not as difficult as people make it out to be.
Yeah, it's true. I noticed that people like him and people like David Pakman, for example. They fire off all of these fake ideas like climate change. The problems that they want to talk about, climate change, gun control, women's rights to kill the babies, all of these things that we don't even need to be talking about. Mm-hmm. Racism, sexism, all these fake issues. By fake, I mean just non-issues, basically, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They're non-issues that would solve themselves were we to have men running the show, men of logic and integrity.
Yeah.
What a mess.
Yeah, it's It's a shame. Yeah, they're very first world, like utopian problems. But I mean, they're like self-conjured, basically.
Right. JLP was talking to David Pakman in The Fallen State, and Jesse was talking about the attack on whites. He's talking about the fake idea of racism and how blacks are just so in a funk over this fake racism thing. He talked about the LGBT agenda being pushed just in the world on kids and everything, in schools and all that. And David's Pakman, who's not a Christian, by the way, he's like, is this really what you want to talk about? And then he goes over to his show and talks about climate change. And so it's just, we have totally different values, but they trick us into debating about so-called gun control and what's a reasonable measure and what's not a reasonable measure, when that's not the issue.
Right.
At all.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a lot of
enforce what's there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of non-issues.
Right.
And again, like, you can use, they love their data and their stats and their facts and logic.
Right.
I mean, hey, I have no problem. Let's take a look at the data. Let's take a look. And again, it's these things
not
are
cherry-picked, though.
Yeah, not
they cherry-pick it. Oh, blacks are more likely to get killed by police. Huh.
Oh, weird. Huh. I
must be racist.
Don't need to look into that any further.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's I'll end with it, and I'll just restate it. These are not hard problems to solve.
Yeah.
It's
very simple, actually.
We do this to ourselves. We are overcomplicating things by sort of, with these first world problems, like, you know, kind of everything that you just said, we make up these problems.
Yeah.
And we neglect real problems.
Yeah.
You know, and this is sort of the fruit that it bears. These are just, the problems are not hard to solve.
I remember
we're perfectly capable of doing it.
They freaked out when Trump called it a national emergency at the border. You know, the border crisis, a national emergency. They're like, it's not a national emergency. Just because I guess they're used to it. It's kind of like the black violent crime in all the major cities. It's not just Chicago.
Right. I don't know how
it's a national emergency.
I don't know how it could be any clearer.
Especially, I mean,
it's
the border.
A literal national emergency.
Yep.
The border is open.
Yep.
That's an emergency.
Just because it's been going on for decades doesn't make it any less of an emergency, a crisis.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It is a national emergency. The integrity of the country is at stake.
Yeah, seriously. I appreciate it, Chris.
Thank you.
Super chat from Best Kisser Bibby42. Did I read that correctly last time? Chris, Saturday always with the great takes. Indeed. Although I can no longer see where young Chris's beard begins and where his chin ends. Enjoy it before it turns gray, he says. Cancel those words. No, I'm kidding. Shaggy's favorite podcaster is David Pakman, says Brandon M. Wow, really? Indeed. Nice. Well, thank you, guys. Let me get to Joe in Idaho. Some people have been talking about Joe in Idaho ever since yesterday's call. How are you doing, Joe?
I'm good, Hake, but my ears have been burning.
Why is that? You are good? You're calling yourself good? No man is good, but God alone.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm well.
Nice.
Sorry about that.
Why have your ears been burning?
I don't know. They say that when people are talking about you, your ears are burning.
Okay.
So
I learned from a Mexican that when you sneeze, a girl is thinking about you, if you're a guy.
I've never heard that before, but I'm not Mexican. So.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just wanted to clarify a couple things about yesterday because I think people got the wrong impression about what I was saying. First of all, I just want to say I think it's perfectly fine to attack Nancy Pelosi.
Speak up for me. You're coming in kind of quiet for my taste, I think. Is he
sure.
okay?
Yeah, I'll try to speak up louder.
Thank you.
I wanted to say that I think it's perfectly acceptable to attack Nancy Pelosi for everything she has to say and everything she stands for, because she is just a mess of a person. My whole point was that attacking people who are older because they're older based on their looks just doesn't seem appropriate. I understand you disagree and other people disagree with me. And Chris, that homeless-looking guy, I know he disagrees with me.
Dang, shots fired.
Sorry?
I said, dang, shots fired.
Yes, well.
You're attacking a man for looking manly just based on his looks. Seems wrong.
I don't know about manly, but...
Are beards...
Anyway.
Do men have beards?
Oh, men should have beards. I have a beard.
Whoa, you do? Wow, I didn't picture you with a beard. I pictured you
Really?
clean-shaven.
Oh, no, I've got a beard. All men should have beards.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, I fired shots just because he fired shots yesterday. But
I don't know if he fired shots at you personally. Other people did.
debatable.
I did read some super chats.
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, generally, I think Chris is a good guy, and I agree with pretty much everything he said. But,
Nice.
Yeah. But anyway, I just wanted to, and I'm just joking around because that's what guys do, right? But I just wanted to say, I understand you disagreed with me and other people disagreed with me, and that's fine. I just want to know, like, and once again, I just want to say that in private, I think it's fine to say anything about anyone. There's no limit. I was just talking about public, being in public and saying things that may represent a group of, your group of people, like right-wing conservative. It may give people the wrong impression. But in any case, where do you draw the line? That's what I want to know. Like, what would not be acceptable for you to joke about in a public forum?
I do have limits, but
Okay.
but not so much really about appearance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you do have limits. There
in
are
terms
things that
of
are off limits.
first of all, it's a time and place situation, and on a public podcast is a perfectly fine thing to joke around like men do about. Look at that face. Nancy Pelosi, her face. I can't really say that she's just a natural old lady. Yeah. She looks like. Have you seen how high her eyebrows are?
Yeah.
I think that's causing part of how garish and sunken eyelids her eyes are. I think that's what's causing her to look the way that she looks. In part of it is she is old. Asmodor has a super chat. We already understood the feminine, obese beta male Joe thinks it's inappropriate to criticize Pelosi for her looks. Why is he back here again whining? We don't need his beta concern troll clarification. And he's calling you obese. I know that you say that you're not. You're a vegan and you're fit, but maybe he's calling you intellectual. Maybe you're intellectually obese. Maybe you're spiritually obese. What did you say?
I'm not spiritually obese. Can I send you a picture of me?
No, man. What the heck?
How fit I am?
No.
Because you're always commenting on how I look, but you don't know how I look.
I'm not commenting. I trust. Take your. Right, Asmodor did. And because people think that you sound fat. Commented. You used to be fat, right?
When I was a teenager.
Yeah.
That was 40-some years ago.
Which, that's before the whole world was fat. In the 80s, people were pretty fit. Yeah. So you were uniquely fat. You were remarkably fat.
Remarkably, yes. I was pretty remarkable.
Whereas nowadays, if somebody's fat, it's like almost unremarkable because everybody's fat, which is not good. Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah. There were a lot of fat people when I was a teenager. There were definitely a lot of fat people.
Where'd you grow up?
There's more today, but there were where? In Buffalo, New York.
Amongst blacks, Hispanics, whites, or what? Jewish people?
All of the above. All of the above.
Okay. Another super chat. Asmodor states, many vegans are obese. Joe sounds fat. Might just be because his testosterone is low due to his feminine practice of veganism.
Well, first of all, I'm not fat. There are some vegans that are fat.
Yeah.
And some that are fit. And look up, you know who you should look up? Look up, Jordan David. And type in Google vegan Jordan David.
Is he
You'll
fit?
see what a vegan can look like.
Okay.
Yeah, he's...
Dee's in the YouTube chat says, yet if the tables were turned, James don't like to be talked about.
I'm
in terms of
laughing
my
at what
looks,
people-
I don't know.
I'm laughing at people's jokes.
I don't really, in terms of looks, I don't know. I think it's good to be able to take it like a man and handle because people are gonna lie and smear and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, but then I made a joke about Chris earlier, and you seemed offended.
Yeah, it seemed kind of out of order.
Well, so why is it okay for you to be offended, but not me?
Whatever, man. Asmodor states, there weren't a lot of fat people in the 80s. They were rare enough that people were like, wow, look at that fat person.
Well,
but New York was
I don't know.
degenerate. Buffalo, New York, you said, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty degenerate place. There's a lot of fat people there, and there were a lot of fat people in the 80s. I was there. I was born in the
Not
60s,
as out of
I know.
control as today, man. It was
No,
rare
it's
enough.
worse today. It's worse. It's
Okay,
worse
so
today.
we're not attacking her just for her looks. We're attacking her because she's evil and ugly. And the zoom in
She
on
is
her
evil, I agree.
zoom in on her eyes. Do you witness that? Did you see that?
I did see that, yeah.
Was it garish and scary almost?
Yeah, but my point
Ain't
is
no yeah,
that when
but.
people get, there is a
Was it
yeah, but.
remarkably ugly? Lipstick on a pig type stuff. Or worse, really. Eyeshadow on a
When
skull.
people get old, they don't look good. I mean, everyone's
It's
gonna
not
get
just
old.
about
You have
getting
to
old.
understand that.
There are old folks who their face gets saggy. Her face is not saggy. Why not?
Her face looks pretty saggy to me.
Why are her eyebrows that high? Is that natural?
Maybe not. Maybe
No.
she's had work done.
Not maybe. I say not maybe. I know I'm speculating here because I've not witnessed it firsthand, but
You
it
are
doesn't look
speculating,
naturally. Doesn't look natural to me.
Yeah.
And it's shocking for you to accuse me of speculating when it's. I think anybody with any
You
common
admitted
sense
you're
whatsoever will see that's a facelift. It's not. It's not
it very well
Botox.
might be.
People say it's Botox. I don't think it's Botox.
Yeah.
It's a facelift. That means they pull
It very
that
well might be.
because it's not that it very well might be. I'll bet you $1 that it is. And I don't like to speculate, but I bet you $1 that it is.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was.
Probably an eyelid
just saying,
lift
I don't
and even
know
a
for
facelift. Plastic
You
surgeon.
might very well be right, and I wouldn't doubt it, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't like to speculate either.
Right.
So that's why I say, and I don't like to say things that may or may not be true.
Right.
So she may have had possibly. I don't know. You don't know either. Nobody knows except maybe a few people, her and her surgeon and her friends, her husband, her drunk husband.
Wow, that's low. That's a low blow, man. I know she's.
Well,
I
he
know
was
she's
drunk when he
ugly,
was
and her
driving.
face is not normal. I know she's ugly inside and out, and her face is not normal. And I'm gonna continue to do this,
Well,
whether you listen to my show or not.
In any case, I'm glad to hear that you do draw the line somewhere.
Yeah, it's nowhere near where you do.
Yeah.
Uh,
And believe me, and once again, I want to reiterate.
Okay, here's an example of where I might draw the line. They accused, it's in terms of actual slander, right? I draw the line at slander, libel, and threats.
Yeah. Well, when you say someone has
And gossip.
isn't that slander?
Gossip too.
Well,
Gossip, slander, libel, threats.
When
Speculating
you say
about
that
people's
Nancy
personal
Pelosi-
lives, that type of stuff.
Well, aren't you doing that about Nancy Pelosi with her facelift?
That's hardly speculation. I think it's a matter of, it's quite apparent.
Okay, whatever. I mean, I think it's speculation. And you very well might be right. And if I
It may
had to put
not.
money
It may
on
not be
I would-
called a
I would-
facelift, whatever she had done, but she had something done to make her look more like that guy.
Younger. Yeah.
To-
If I had to put money on it, I would say she probably has had work done, but I don't know for sure.
Anyway, those eyelids look like they're draped around and painted over and draped around a skull with huge skull eye sockets, and she looks soulless.
Well,
and nervous Nancy.
Yeah, I mean, she's a horrible person, and I disagree with her policies. And she's done a lot of harm to a lot of people.
Real hard
but
hitting,
I'm not-
real hard hitting commentary there, buddy.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'm being
but
sarcastic, man.
I know, but I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna attack her for being older and looking bad because she's older.
I'm not attacking her for being older. I'm attacking her for being ugly inside and out.
I'll attack her for being ugly inside, which she definitely is.
All right. Take care, man.
All right.
Adios. All right. Bye. Man. LIECRUSHER in New York City. Get a rope. LIECRUSHER, how are you doing, man?
How are you doing today?
Doing well.
Great. I wanted to say a few things regarding this Second Amendment issue. I heard this morning Jesse talk about Canada.
Yeah.
And the concerns that this may happen here. You do know that the Supreme Court, among the other controversial issues, they're reviewing the case in New York State regarding Second Amendment.
I heard that.
So that could have a very, very, very impact. And again, I don't know Canada's constitution, but I don't believe that the right to bear arms is in their constitution. So the president there, or prime minister, has a lot more leeway in terms of, banning handguns.
Yeah.
One thing I will say, though, I'm a Second Amendment supporter.
Nice.
I think sometimes you have to look at the density where you live. I think that if you live in I was once told by somebody that if you live like in a urban area, you have a lot of row houses, you're better off with a shotgun than a handgun. Because possibly you could actually miss.
Go through a wall.
Handgun hits someone across the street to your neighbor.
Right.
With a shotgun, you have scatter.
And yeah, and the shot doesn't go through walls as much.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that
just goes through people at point blank range.
We have people who are on the other side of the issue. We are in a republic, but people do decide things on voting. And as much as I'm supportive of NRA, GOA, sometimes you have to step back a bit and compromise, because then you lose it all. Because we know how the press is going to act. These two horrific shootings that occurred in Buffalo and in Uvalde, Texas. Of course, there are many others that somehow they tend to ignore.
Right.
For political reasons.
Yep.
Also, do you know what Uvalde is famous for also?
No.
That city in Texas? John F. Kennedy, the day he was assassinated, called John Nance Garner, the VP under FDR, of Uvalde, Texas.
He's from there?
No, John Nance Garner was from Uvalde, Texas. When Kennedy went to he was in Fort Worth. The day he was assassinated, he called John Nance Garner to wish him 95th birthday. His birthday is November 22nd, November 22nd was his birthday. He died, I think, 3 years later or so, 4 years later. Just a tidbit of history in terms of the city of Uvalde. You know, President Kennedy, his last phone call he made was to John Nance Garner in that city.
Who? John Lance Connor?
John Nance Garner. He was, FDR had 3 vice presidents. The first 2 were John Nance Garner, then Henry Wallace, and then Truman.
Oh. John Nance Garner.
Nance Garner, yes.
Okay. All right.
From Uvalde.
But he died in 1941.
No. You're thinking someone else.
Oh, no. You're right. He didn't die in 1941. My mistake. That was his term in office.
Right.
Yeah.
He died in 1957.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
again, I think it's important. We have a lot of, I think, I forget the guy's name, the guy with the beard. I forget his name.
67.
I think he implied correctly that this issue of guns is a part of a larger cultural war, a cultural battle. And they see, you want to call it the conservative movement, you want to call it, they see a linkage between that and the right to bear arms and manhood.
Right.
It's a desire to break it up, to break down men.
Yep. Very true.
Break down,
They want to break down the men. The independence, the self-reliance of the men.
But at the same time, men cannot get it confused now. The gun is an important appendage in protection. But the ultimate protector is God. That's still the more protector, God.
True.
We have tools at our disposal.
God gave us guns.
I agree.
Yeah.
But again, we cannot become so.
But guns are not God.
No.
Very true.
Right. And we forget this. We get lost in that whole mess sometimes. Not like God. But again, we have a right to defend ourselves. We want to hunt. And I think that we have to approach this, understanding that there's going to be a whole emotional backlash. And I mean, it's unfortunate you had these children killed. But I would say it's interesting to me, no one's looking to the motive of this guy here. We right away established a motive for the guy in Buffalo. But the guy in Uvalde, I've heard nothing about him. Have you noticed that? Nothing about him at all.
Yeah, I haven't heard much about his motive. I haven't heard much
Nothing
about the motive of the Las Vegas, the 50 people who killed 50 people at the outside the concert from the the casino hotel in Las Vegas. Yeah.
But unfortunately, a lot of times these things are scripted into what they call white supremacy, and that really makes the news.
Right.
As some have argued, the guy in what was that? I forget what the guy ran over folks with the car with his van.
Are you talking about the church? I mean, the Christmas parade massacre.
Yes.
The black on white attack. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And it's important to say that. I mean, we should be as outraged when you have unwanted attacks of white and blacks as blacks on whites, blacks on Asians.
Right.
How about the men?
And honestly, we should never be exactly outraged, at least not raged. We should treat it like men and handle these things with even temper, even keel.
Right.
But you're right. It is way out of proportion, the attack on whites. Anytime a white appears to do something wrong.
But we need to also recognize, in all fairness, not to dwell on the past as a way to cripple black people, cripple us. But, for example, you had the issue of Black Wall Street. No one got captured. No one was arrested for that. A lot of times you look at sometimes, the Black Wall Street.
Right, where there was a riot.
Yeah, right.
A riot between the whites and the blacks.
Right. There was no prosecutor for that. The town burned down practically, destroyed. Again, and I make these points. Sometimes you look at history, you see a continuum down the road, and people say, "Man, the way to deal with that, but you have to appreciate history.
You cut out there. I can't hear you, man.
History is taught on a regular basis. The key for history is how do you process it to go forward. That's sometimes what people miss in teaching history.
I know, but they don't even teach history right anymore.
No.
They're not honest. The historians are not honest.
History is very funny because what's the saying? He who wins makes the rules. Tell the story.
The history books are written by the victors, or really the propagandists, the subverters.
Right.
The subverters write the history books, I say.
Mm-hmm.
The intellectuals, the female-minded people. But thank you, LIECRUSHER. Great call.
Welcome.
Call me again
Thank you.
sometime. Take care.
I will. Bye-bye.
Bye. Man, I got some super chats to read here, guys. Best Kisser Bibby42 says, Hake, Nancy Pelosi is not human. She is a reptilian. Is she now? The truth must come out. Also, Joe, please don't send pics. I know, huh? Asmodor states, Joe is spiritually castrated, referring to Joe in, well, is he talking about Joe in Phoenix? No. But I guess him too. Joe in Idaho, spiritually castrated. Some of it is low T. Most of it is the spirit of a woman living in him. He is a male, but not a man. Yeah, he said he's spiritually not fat. But he's non-religious. I don't know if he's an atheist, though. I can never get these things straight. Somebody also said that it's not just for men. Guns are not just for men. They're also for women. Indeed. Guns were called the great equalizer because a woman could take down a full-grown man if the man were hopefully in the right context, you know, just with a justified self-defense shooting type of situation. Hopefully not a murder. Callers, Art in Ohio wanted to address the gun control lies. Art, call me tomorrow if you can. Blazing Hogs from the Night Rider from the sundown town of Dayton, Ohio, wanted to talk about the social media selective blindness. Very interesting topic. And the rest of you, I know many of you wanted to get in but could not stay on or get in. It is time to end the show. Catch Hake. That's me. Tonight, 6 p.m. Pacific on Modern Day Debate. Shout out to Modern Day Debate. Facing off with Jangles on so-called LGBT, no such thing. Race and gender, both, I say, false identities. And I will elaborate there on Modern Day Debate. Thanks, guys. Hopefully see you tonight and tomorrow. Take care. Adios.